Everybody, welcome to the webinar this afternoon. Thank you very much for joining. Really appreciate you taking the time out of your day. Today, we're going to be focusing on the manufacturing sector and how some of our experience in helping that sector achieve more with Dynamics as a CRM solution. So in order to get us started, we'll just introduce ourselves first and foremost. My name's Kurt. I'm the sales director at Cloud9 Insight. Been with the business for coming up to 6 years now. We've probably seen in the hundreds of clients go through a process of trying to understand what CRM is the best one for them. What do I actually need a CRM solution to do? And also maybe who the right partner might be in terms of helping us achieve what we want to. So I'm joined today by Jim, who is our principal functional consultant. Jim, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi, thanks, Kurt. So my name is Jim. I'm a consultant here at Cloud9. My background is actually front side of the business. I've been sales operations director at many companies, PLCs in the past, and I really came into Dynamics through being an implementation myself. I was at a company that put Dynamics in. I went through the process of implementing the system, and from that learnings and experience, I decided that I'd jump to the dark side, if you like, and start working in Dynamics itself. So that's where it got me into where I am today.
Thanks, Jim. So today we're going to cover, initially we're going to start with a client success story. So we're going to play a video in just a second, which will talk more about C Group, who are one of our manufacturing-based clients and the journey they've been on in achieving more with Microsoft Dynamics 365. We're then going to have a sort of fireside chat, Jim. So I'm going to try and rack your brains for some great content and great best practice ideas around how you've helped some of our manufacturing clients. And then we'll round off with any other business and any questions from the floor. So for anyone watching, if you do have questions, please feel free to post those into the chat and we'll be delighted to cover those off at the end. So we're going to start with our video, our client success case study. And I'm going to introduce you to Rob Thompson, who is the CEO at C Group.
So my name's Robert Thompson. I am the CEO of C Limited. C Limited is a company that's based in the UK, and below that company we have 3 trading businesses in distribution and in manufacturing that specialise in timber-based composites for various different market sectors. Okay, so the challenge that we had with our existing CRM system is that they're all different for all the trading businesses within our group. Very much worked independently of each other. So from C Limited and our management, we didn't have full transparency of the opportunities that we were working on, and we didn't have consistency in relation to how the data was fed back up the line to the team. The trigger to implement a new CRM, as mentioned before, it was not having a consistent platform through our trading businesses where it gave great visibility in terms of our opportunities and forecasting for the health of the businesses going forward. It was very much short term, not really giving us a long-term view to meet our aspirations in relation to the growth of the businesses. In relation to why the Dynamics CRM, we already were Microsoft 365 customers. We found that actually the system integrated into our Outlook from the start, so there was not a need to learn different operating systems and different language and the like. The reason we went with Cloud9 was purely as a byproduct of the engagement level and the confidence that came across on our Teams meetings during COVID. Unfortunately, we weren't allowed to meet with the team face to face, but they gave me a strong sense that A, they knew what they were talking about, and B, that Cloud9 could deliver. The implementation of the CRM was certainly a challenge because coming from a a business that didn't really have a robust CRM system. There was a lot of learning that was needed, not just by myself, but also from members of my team. And again, going back to why we chose to go with Cloud9 is that our approach to the CRM system was very much a byproduct of a long-term partnership. There's implementing a new CRM doesn't automatically mean that you're going to have instant success overnight. You have to have a long-term plan, and to facilitate that long-term plan, you need key partners. Hence the reason we went with Cloud9. We implemented the CRM maybe 3 months ago, so we're still very much in its infancy, and we're taking a slowly approach. But to date, we're enjoying some quick wins and some good successes. But we very much know that this is a system that's going to be implemented into our business operation for the long term. The benefits of the CRM is multifaceted. One of the key things for me is the CRM is just one cog in the wheel in terms of the bringing together the various different softwares within the Microsoft package, which obviously have a great benefit to the business operation. There's consistency in the information, there's a consistency in how that information is presented, and that's a true benefit for us in relation to our CRM aspirations. The reason I would recommend Cloud9 is I'm still a key partner with them, and we're looking to invest further with them on additional software packages centered around the Microsoft 365 program. They have and will be a long-term partner for our business, and to date they are certainly delivering.
So we hope that was useful. That was Rob speaking very glowingly about us, Jim, which was very great to hear. And we've really enjoyed working with C Group and the team. As you are the lead consultant on the C Group project, and you work very closely with a number of our manufacturing clients. As I said, I wanted to try and pick your brains to take some nuggets and some best practice advice into how some manufacturing clients who are thinking about potentially CRM and how they might approach this, what might be the things for them to think about. So I was wondering if you could just start by telling us some of the main things that we find the manufacturing sector and manufacturing businesses. What are the main things that they use a CRM to support or resolve?
No problem, Kurt. So one of the things that we commonly see in the manufacturing sector is that some of the employees that are often out in the field and are often away from management for extended periods of time, it's a lot of the issue that manufacturing owners and the senior management have is about visibility. And whilst there's a lot of trust and confidence in the team, it's about being able to see without hassling the sales teams, what's happening, what's coming up next. And Dynamics enables them to share from the front end a little bit more about what's going on and what's coming up next. And I was with C Group, one of the things that we found was that wish for visibility of what was happening in the sales teams was key. And that's very common.
Great. Yeah, I can really see the benefit there. Obviously, being the sales director here myself, one of the great things we have is that visibility of where our whole team are, where the deals are, and that helps not with understanding where the money might come from, but also how those deals that we're winning can be fulfilled from a delivery angle. And I assume that rolls over into the manufacturing space as well in terms of production and being able to get stock out there and deliver it.
Yeah, it's sometimes with the manufacturing, not just about the revenue. It's sometimes about the sort of production teams being able to see, what kind of stock, what kind of parts, what kind of product do they need to prepare for, say, 6 to 9, 12 months in the future. And you probably heard Rob in the video talking about forecasting. There's some new functionality in Dynamics that's come out recently to enable really good future forecasting of sales not just from revenue, but from the actual products that we think are going to be sold. And production teams are getting that now to be able to see what volumes of what product they may need to have in their stock, say 12 months in the future.
Yeah, great. And I guess as we emerge from COVID and other challenges that we faced over the last couple of years, having that visibility of pipeline and forecasting, I would assume also enables people and business owners to make good decisions on things like investing or recruiting and things like that. So I assume there's a lot of value in having those forecasting tools.
Yeah, forecasting has always been something that I think manufacturers have been asking salespeople to take time off the day job to create the forecasts and come back. With Dynamics, the sales team are more able to just carry on with the day job, and the data that they're recording as part of their day job becomes the forecast. So it does free up the sales team to get back to selling. And of course, with more remote working during the COVID times, it's been a lot easier now for management to see what's happening without having to be face to face with the sales team, and that's made it easier for both sides. Particularly for sales teams, in that they're not getting hassled to produce reports. Also for management, in that they have that confidence to be able to sit back and see who's been talking to who, which ultimately, as an owner of the business, is what you want to know.
Great. And I guess one of the other things that we often see in the manufacturing space is that manufacturers, and perhaps they would even admit to this, is they are usually very busy. They're usually a very busy sector, looking to deliver on deals, looking to please their clients. Have you seen any of the challenges of potentially being too busy to make a change? What sort of things have you come across to make sure that people are successful and can provide the time needed to make a CRM a success?
Well, manufacturers can be, very sort of, I don't know how to put it. They're very much JFDI. They get stuck in and get on with it very often, and that makes them quite often busy to implement a CRM. So it's no surprise that many use spreadsheets and things like that. But of course, owners are trying to sort of de-risk that and sort of re-centralize some of that information that they hold. It can be hard for new users to take on systems, especially in this industry where your employees tend to be, a little bit more experienced than in other sales teams. They might have been in the business for a long time. And there's a lot of reticence sometimes with that type of employee in coming on to a new system. And some of the systems that are out there in the market are very different, and the appetite for users to take them on board can be, let's call it, challenging. But of course, Dynamics being part of the Office suite, it's very recognizable as a product, and it's very integrated as a product. So therefore, it's very easy for them to take the step into a new piece of software rather than, going into something very new and very, shall I say, scary.
Yeah, sure. That's a really good point. And you heard Rob in the video talk about the fact that they already use the Microsoft stack. Dynamics is very nicely integrated with those Office tools, so it was almost a natural progression to use a solution for Dynamics. One of the things that we've seen as a release from Microsoft recently is the huge investment and changes and developments that they're making to the Teams integration. So what are the major sort of pluses that you see around linking those tools, Outlook, Teams, potentially SharePoint as well?
Well, I mean, the obvious one, Kurt, is the fact that you don't have to enter data twice. That's one of the biggest things that put people off CRMs. I have to record it here, I have to record it there. But with Dynamics integration to Outlook, the fact that you've sent somebody an email means that it can be tracked into Dynamics automatically. So people can see in either system that an email's been sent to Bob about this, or an email's been sent by Jenny about that. With COVID, though, one of the things that's changed more recently is the use of Teams with sales teams in communicating. So not just for the remote video for client meetings, but also for communicating with colleagues to discuss issues and problems. And more recently, Dynamics has introduced some integration into Teams within the channel collaboration. So you can create a Teams channel now, so you can have non-Dynamics users discussing issues about a particular client, but you can then connect that to the Dynamic record so that we can then share the same file storage base, so everyone's storing documents in the same location. Just little things like that make it faster and easier to use the system.
Yeah, great. And I guess those kind of tools are exactly what will help with the adoption, which it's, everybody's key driver to one of these projects is to make sure that people are actually going to use it. So some of those things you described there will really help with that adoption process. Just wanted to take a sort of slightly sidestep here. And one of the things that we often see in the manufacturing sector is around having multiple opportunities for the same tender. Could you just tell us a little bit more about how we've come across that, what it means for manufacturers, and how we've helped certain clients with that slightly different approach?
Yeah, I mean, we have a number of clients that have this issue where they're effectively managing a sales pipeline, maybe with 5 potential sales, but actually really there'll only ever be one, because the 5 people that they're supplying are bidding or on the same tender. And they found it very difficult to actually calculate what their true future sales potential is. And there are ways now with Dynamics that we can actually link those potential sales together. So we're only actually forecasting one, and that gives you a much truer picture of what the potential sale is going to be, and obviously what potential product that you're going to need too.
Yeah, fantastic. I know a lot of the clients that I look after, really pleased with having that ability to manage that sort of slightly complex sales cycle within Dynamics and a solution, something that they've often found challenging before. Final question, Jim, is, I would say when we speak to business owners, one of the major drivers for a new CRM project is to gain back that element of control. They want to feel that they understand where the business is. They want to understand where the business is going, perhaps what's working and what isn't. And that often comes back down to reporting. What would you say are sort of the main achievements that manufacturing clients have around reporting? And is there anything you can share there?
Well, I think the most obvious one is about the speed of the data, really, Kurt, because a report is only as good as the date that it was created, and we find that particularly clients that are coming off spreadsheets, they're spending time on a Friday afternoon or a Monday morning generating reports that then come into management. They review it Monday afternoon, and then on a Tuesday there's some decisions being made. In Dynamics, the data being maintained by the salespeople is live. So the dashboard capability of the system and the new deal manager capability that's in the system, as soon as the deal is created and as soon as the deal is updated, that is therefore the live report. So we can keep very, very simple but accurate and most importantly up-to-date reporting available for management without having sales teams spending time creating reports. And of course, not paying people to spend time to create reports is better value for the business.
Fantastic. That's great, Jim. Jim, we're going to come to an end now. I really appreciate the insight you've given to us today and taking time out of your busy schedule working to make our clients successful. For anyone who's watching, anyone who wants to have a chat with us a little bit more about how Dynamics and how Cloud9 can potentially help you to move your business forward, you can see our contact details on the screen here. We'd be absolutely delighted to hear from you. So thank you very much for attending today and wish you all a very nice afternoon. Thank you, guys.